We're fortunate to have our two Roselle experts here for our panel this evening. We have Dr. Ramu Govindasamy, our Extension Specialist in Marketing, and Dr. Albert Ianni, our Ethnic Crop Specialist. And hopefully they can address any questions you have on growing Roselle and marketing within your area. So let's take some questions.
My name is Natarajan, Nat. I'm from South Brunswick. About 20-30 years back, we used to have a farm, and I used to kind of grow along with the family in the farm, all those things. That's all forgotten pretty much. Now, you mentioned something about that importing this from outside, good quantity, like 16 tons or something per year. What is the major use they do for those who are importing? Is it just like retailers like here, or something more commercial, or some like a herbal purpose?
So can we go on? Can we start talking? Okay. Thank you for the question, Matt. I'm happy to be here. My name is Albert Ianni, as has been said by the moderator. I've been working with Roselle for about 7 years, and we've been able to get it from the very scratch to a point where we feel we have some sufficient information to share with people who are interested in growing this crop. The question you raised, which companies or which organizations are importing Roselle, and in what form are they importing it? They import the calyx, and I can show you the calyx here on these plants. This is the calyx. It is inside the calyx that you have the pod that carries the seed. And there is a way they remove the pod that carries the seed from the calyx, and then they can dry the calyx. They dry it. They can use it for tea or for some other beverages. And I think the most popular use for it in the US right now by companies that are bringing it to the country is for herbal tea. There is Roselle herbal tea. I don't know if they are popular yet on the East Coast. I've not run into it so often. But Roselle tea is pretty popular, and that is the major product that is made from it in the US. And talking beyond our country here, Germany is known to be the highest country that demands a lot of Roselle. They, in our country, about 5,000, probably getting to 6,000, 7,000 now, tons per year. In Germany, they import tons and tons and tons of it, and they use it in so many different ways, for coloring, for tea, for jelly, for different kinds of beverages, and so on. The plant is so wonderfully useful that anyone who is interested in growing it, we will be very happy to work with you to see in what forms we can expand the market. Right now, we are growing it primarily for the leaf market at Rutgers. And the reason why we are restricted to that is because the crop, as my colleague said, will not flower and fruit under field conditions because the season is too short. Roselle plant responds to day length. And if the day length doesn't become significantly shortened, it does not go into flowering. Under our condition, by the time it starts flowering, the time is so short to get to that frost period, and it's very, very sensitive to cold. The moment the temperature is going close to zero, Roselle will melt out. It's not going to continue. So it's about that time that it starts, the flowering is induced in the plant. So it doesn't have the time to grow, to be able to produce this size calyx, which some other people use. So our condition here is very good for leaf production, but we are working with plant breeders now to see if we can develop varieties that can flower and fruit and complete their life cycle under our condition. We are just starting to look at that. One of our graduate students used a variety of Roselle, different Roselle types. And this past season, we saw that one of the Roselle types that she included in her studies flowered a little bit earlier than the others. It actually produced calyx, but it was not, the season again was not long enough to get the fruit to develop fully for us to be able to say we can produce seed from the field. We are still looking into how we can get develop varieties that can complete their life cycle fully under field condition.
Going back to your question regarding importing Roselle, we import only calyx, not the leaves.
Yeah.
And majority comes from Africa. And there is a type called Sudan Red.
Yeah.
And we import quite a bit from Sudan. And we used to work with growers in Senegal. In Senegal, they grow a lot of Roselle, again for the flowers only. Yeah. And we used to work with a company called Adina in the US. And they used to import Roselle calyx